I think Destiny's stance on Israel is like kind of like
it's
toned down.
Killed his career. You see the clip where he's speaking to the IDF saying, "Hey, if you commit crimes against children, just turn your cameras off. Don't incriminate yourself."
His thing is he just dislikes Muslims.
Like Charlie Kirk can say Islam is ruining the West
with zero consequence too.
Charlie Kirk, look at the Talmud.
What Charlie's doing right now is he's like, I'm losing on Israel. I need something to like attack. Islam. So like, I'm gonna do that.
I am a reaver and I was taught how to pray Salah.
That means every single time I pray,
the person who told me gets the reward.
5 times a day, from Fajr to Isha.
If you want to support someone like me in learning Salah,
then sponsor 10 people for just £100.
Remember the Prophet, peace be upon him, said,
charity does not decrease wealth. Click the button and donate now.
Assalamu alaikum brothers and sisters. If you're watching this video and it's Salah time, please pause it and go pray and come back when you're done. Please check out the description section of this video to support the channel. I just saw a stream featuring Sneako and Myron Gaines discussing how liberal, secular left-wing politics alongside Christian nationalist far-right politics can find mutual commonalities through ridding the Western political structure of the poison that is Zionism. Sneako, who is an openly practicing Muslim that I would describe as more of a centrist, along with Myron, who is more of a non-practicing cultural Muslim that panders to the right, took aim at pro-Israel propagandists on both sides of the political spectrum, in particular liberal atheist Destiny and far-right Christian nationalist Charlie Kirk, both of whom are Zionist shills. Let's take a look.
I think Destiny's stance on Israel is like kind of like
it's killed his career. It's killed his career because now it's shifted. The left is all waking up about Palestine. So now they're all Hasanabi fans. He's in like Destiny's in this weird space where he could only appeal to Zionist Democrats. That's his crowd now. Because most of the left hates Israel.
Yeah.
And so who's he appealing to? He's like people that voted for Biden.
Some crazy stat came out, like 92% of them disapprove of the conflict.
He's there. You see the clip where he's speaking to the IDF saying, "Hey, if you commit crimes against children, just turn your cameras off. Don't record it."
Was that in a vlog?
Yes.
I think it was like from a year or two ago.
I can't believe you didn't see this. Somebody sent me this clip. He's talking to the IDF in Israel, and he's saying, like, have fun, do what you want, put on the dresses, go and, rape kids, but just turn your camera off. Turn your camera off so you don't incriminate yourself. Yeah. So who is he really appealing to anymore? That's why Hassan's going in.
He is definitely an outlier on the left for sure. I mean, I think his thing is he just dislikes Muslims more. So by virtue of disliking Muslims more, he's more pro.
Yeah, doesn't it show that if you could openly dislike Muslims and you won't get banned anywhere, but if you say the same thing, like Charlie Kirk can say Islam is ruining the West, and I tweeted this. I saw he said
with zero consequence too.
No, zero consequence.
About this,
and I replaced it. I didn't even say Judaism. I said Israel's not compatible in Western society. They put it in the newspaper after I did the stream with Eric Adams. So if you say Islam is destroying, you're fine. You get Turning Point. You get and now Charlie Kirk is going hard on Muslims. He's speaking at all these events. He's trying to say that they're gonna destroy this country. It's like Charlie Kirk. Look at the Talmud. The Talmud says that Jesus is burning in hot poop. He's burning in hell in feces and excrement. At least Muslims, we believe that Jesus is the Messiah. We have way more in common. But they're so bought and sold. Their souls are so bought that they will shill for the people who think that their God is in hell.
What Charlie's doing right now is he's like, kind of saying like, okay,
he's jealous.
I'm losing on Israel. I need something to like attack. Islam. So like, I'm gonna do that because Zionists always come in. Well, the Talmud was read by 20,000 rabbis. Like it's so different. Ugh. So I don't even want to give them the oxygen because I know I could beat them off just geopolitical facts.
Right.
Which
so you don't want to distract the
because as soon as I bring religion in, this is what Charlie Kirk does, by the way. When I watch Charlie Kirk debate, always uses religion, bro. He always does. And that's his strength. Oh, well, in the Bible, those who bless Israel, blah, blah. And since a lot of these people aren't like, they might not be as versed in the geopolitical structure, they might be a Christian or whatever. Now they're getting into a theocracy debate. And you can never win that. And if you do use religion, you need to use it and back it up immediately with a geopolitical fact.
But religion and politics are intrinsically tied.
Yes.
And especially the conversation that's happening now and the solutions to Zionist influence in America. There's a victim mindset that people don't talk about. I'm explaining.
With the religion?
Yeah, like there's a victim mindset here. I can explain that a Catholic monarchy doesn't make sense. Like, you're bashing Christianity. But at the same time, they'll talk about the prophet. They'll say it's a brown religion. They say you're low IQ. They'll call you a mutt. They say it's for black people. They think it's ritualistic. They're applying their logic to our religion. Like, no Muslim prays to Muhammad.
That's forbidden, guys.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
That's that. If you do that, then you're literally not a Muslim. Muslim means submission to God. It's that simple. People like, oh, you're aren't you a Muslim? Don't you
truly monotheistic. I don't like touching the religion angle unless it's absolutely necessary. Since it's open to subjective interpretation, that creates a lot of loopholes for people to be on some bullshit.
But we don't believe that. We believe that we know the truth and that others are misguided. We have full conviction that we have the truth.
But again, that we think that, but it's still considered subjective to others.
Okay, but we're not in a debate right now.
No, of course.
That's why I like actually what Stu Peters is doing. Stu Peters is a white Christian, and he's talking about the red heifers. He's talking about how that they want to establish a third temple. Because that's what this is really about. Like, if you break it down, like, yes, October 7th and Israel and this, it's really about them creating world destruction so that they can have their Messiah arrive on this earth.
Yes.
Because they believe in the Antichrist.
As Sneako said, Destiny has alienated himself from the left, who are majority pro-Palestine, by selling out to Israel, so much so that it seems like there's no way back for this disgusting individual. Especially if we consider the clip Sneako referred to, where Destiny is seen debriefing IDF soldiers in Israel, telling them to continue abusing and killing women and children, but just to do so off camera in order to cover their tracks. Myron seemed to put Destiny's pro-Israel stance down to his extreme hatred of Muslims. However, it's quite obvious Destiny's loyalty to the Zionist entity is a combination of him being employed by the Israeli government as well as him being anti-Islam. Sneako was correct to expose the fact that people can openly be Islamophobic, to the point they are even rewarded for it, and gave Charlie Kirk as an extreme example. However, any criticism of Israel, and not even Judaism, results in censorship and being slandered by the Zionist-run mainstream media. Both Myron and Sneako called out Charlie Kirk's obsessive Muslim hatred and put it down to him overcompensating due to his indefensible pro-Israel, pro-genocide, pro-starvation of children stance. And this is true across the board for all these Zionist propagandists. They need to resort to religious discrimination and blatant racism because what they are defending is the death, destruction and enslavement of Palestinians. Whereas if you look on the Muslim or pro-Palestine side, the majority of us don't attack Judaism or skin colour because we're fighting for justice, equality and for an end to war and violence. Sneako was correct to label Charlie Kirk as a sellout and a hypocrite for slandering Islam, a religion that honours Jesus, peace be upon him, as the Messiah, whilst Charlie bows down to an ideology that believes his God is burning in hell. Even Myron poked fun at Charlie Kirk's poor attempts at defending the humiliating contradiction that is Christian Zionism. Sneako further exposed the hypocrisy of these Judeo-Christian grifters for not only falsely stereotyping Islam as a black and brown religion, but for also judging Muslims from a completely contradictory Christian Zionist perspective, which is once again done with the aim to dehumanize Arabs and Muslims so that it's more palatable for the world to see them being wiped out by Israel. As Sneako said, real Christians don't conduct themselves like this, but instead stand on the side of humanity and call out the atrocities being committed against their fellow human beings. Let's watch the next clip where Myron and Sneako discuss how abolishing Zionism can unite the right and the left.
Like, I'm Muslim, right? But we both are.
Alhamdulillah.
I understand. But I'm able to sit here and say, look, Sharia law isn't compatible with democracy. I'm sorry. Though it doesn't benefit me to say that. Right? I should be saying, no, Sharia law is totally compatible with the democracy. I'm Muslim. We can make it work.
Is it the lack of freedom of speech?
Yeah, like a lot of democratic values are simply not. Yeah, free speech, women's rights, you know.
Yeah, I know, but so
equality, egalitarianism.
So is
like these are all things that the Sharia law rejects.
Saying that they want a Christian nationalist country, so they have to create Christian law. There literally is no Christian law. What, the 10 Commandments? Thou shalt not kill and steal.
Yeah.
What about everything else? How do you govern a people? Sharia law outlines how to govern, how to organize, how much.
This isn't me saying compare. I'm just saying that, like, I'm giving an example where, like, I'm able to remove myself from a situation. So, like, though I am Muslim and I literally should be sitting here saying, yeah, Sharia law is great, blah blah blah. I acknowledge the fact that it's simply not compatible with a Western democracy, even though it hurts me to say that.
The next conversation, the next truth, is Jewish and Zionist influence.
I mean, hell, it's the reason why this country's so cooked is literally because there's a whole Zionist lobby where they pull their money together. They became successful, take said money, give it to politicians. We need you to care about Israel.
Where do you see this going? What do you think the solution is?
We already see it happening in New York with your boys, Mamdani.
Mamdani, yeah.
Mamdani, I don't know if I told you this. I think Mamdani is setting a trend politically where you can use being anti-Zionist as a valid talking point to show your authenticity to your voter base.
That was the best example of that happening. That was the only reason that I endorse him. I don't agree with a lot of what he does, but the fact that he was the only one on the stage saying, hey, I'm going to stay in New York City. Ironically, even though people call him a brown Muslim and stuff, and he had the most nationalist position. Yeah. Everyone else like, I'm going to kiss the wall, I'm going to hump the wall, I'm going to go to Tel Aviv. Right now, he said, I'm going to stay in New York City. Yeah. That's a nationalist perspective. Yeah. So maybe we should listen a little bit. Obviously, I don't agree with, he's a little far left.
Mark my words, I think being anti-Israel is going to be the new galvanizing talking point.
Other politicians are noticing that, yeah.
For the left. The Republicans, as always, are going to be 20, 30 years late. But because they're so controlled.
People like Mamdani are worth listening to if they're giving the most national position. I respect that. And
I
also,
don't like him, but I respect him.
And if you follow the far-right narrative, which is that they want to establish a white Catholic monarchy government where Mamdani would get deported or just never be able to run, Andrew Cuomo is the alternative. He's a white Christian, so of their standards, Andrew Cuomo, who has direct ties to Epstein, wouldn't be able to run for office. But Mamdani, the only attack that they have against him is that he rents an apartment that's too much money. That's $300 in Astoria. So if you're going to discredit all these people because they're brown and because you want a white Catholic government, then you're only allowing a lot of people that have direct ties to Epstein. Same thing with Trump. He would be able to be in your government, but look how compromised he is. So I think it's worth looking at alternative options. Do you think it's worse that there's brown socialists or that there's Epstein-linked white Christians? Epstein-linked Christians that are kids and getting away with it, or brown socialists?
Evangelical Christians, no. They're both terrible. We need real Christians in there that aren't like
So who are the real Christians?
That's a good question. The guys that don't think that we have a religious duty to protect Israel.
So that's what Ted Cruz said on Tucker.
evangelicals, yeah, the
Ted Cruz
retards,
says in the Bible.
Like all those guys, we got to get them out of there.
Right. Ted Cruz's Bible was probably rewritten by Jews to go and support Israel. Said that God blesses those who bless the state of Israel.
Schofield,
so
yeah.
He literally believes religiously that he needs to be a Zionist.
Yes.
So now you eliminate that group. So now they're not Christian according to you. So now it's just Orthodox and Catholics, or because even a lot of them disagree and call the others Pharisees.
Yeah, they disagree, but they're solid on interpreting properly that supporting Israel is not in the Bible.
Also, that there's a lot of people that hold white supremacist ideologies. Because that's the reason that America got subverted by Israel, is because of the idea that the Jews are the chosen people, that they deserve this land. This land was promised to us. If you replace one control mechanism with another that's identical, you're gonna repeat the cycle. I don't like seeing people fall back on this victim mentality, like, oh, you hate whites, you hate Christians, because that's just, that's as stupid as the Zionists falling back on the October 7th argument all the time.
Yeah, I defend Christians
with
because they actually align a lot with us. I actually defend Judaism too, even though the niggas all hate us, but I defend all the monotheistic religions.
How do you defend Judaism?
That they shouldn't be persecuted just for being Jewish, like from a religious standpoint. I do believe in giving a mutual respect to all the people of the book. Now, pagans, I don't know, man. You idol worshipers, I don't know. But people of the book, it
says that in the Quran.
Yeah. I just have a deep rooted respect for anybody from the book.
And that's what I love about this movement, man. It's like we agree about so much. Like I know so many Muslims who listen to people speaking about this on the right. I want to have more unity. I want people to agree more on this.
It was good to see Myron identify himself as a Muslim, alhamdulillah. In the past, he's made the claim he's not religious, so maybe he's rediscovered his faith, which is encouraging. However, it's clear Myron needs to educate himself on Sharia, but he is completely entitled to his opinion, as is everyone in the West. Muslims are not permitted to force anyone to accept Sharia. And since the West is majority non-Muslim, if there ever was a vote and they voted against Sharia, then that's their choice. And as Muslims, we would completely accept that. But Myron was incorrect when he said democracy and Sharia can't mix, as there are a number of democratic Muslim countries such as Indonesia, Malaysia, Tunisia and Senegal that successfully incorporate both secular laws and Sharia in their legal systems. And as far as Myron's claim that Sharia does not promote equality for women or for human beings in general, this is false, as not every interpretation of Sharia is exactly the same. For example, Dubai is very different from Afghanistan. Plus, Myron comes from a red pill far-right background, which is much more oppressive and degrading to women and people of colour than Sharia. And let's not get started on free speech in the West, where speaking against Israel committing genocide gets you cancelled, whereas Sharia simply ensures no blasphemy occurs, which protects not only Islamic scriptures and prophets, but also Christian and Jewish ones, as we have crossover beliefs. However, in Myron's defence, he did at the very least say, as a Muslim, a Sharia legal system would be in his best interest. Sneako made a good point when he said that if Christian nationalist law ever became mainstream in the West, it would also be restrictive in a religious sense, especially if we consider that the Bible has similarities to the Qur'an, and at times is even stricter in certain scenarios. Sneako was also correct to point out that Sharia provides many political benefits that a lot of democracies lack. Brother Sneako was right when he said the real fight is against the Zionist influence over Western politics, which Myron completely agreed with. Myron made a great point when he stated that the unifying factor between liberals and conservatives is anti-Zionism, citing the potential future mayor of New York, Zohra Mamdani, as a prime example. Sneako claimed Mamdani is much more of a liberal and at the same time much more of a nationalist than, say, people like Destiny and Charlie Kirk because of his America before Israel stance. I couldn't agree more. Like Sneako and Myron, as a practicing Muslim, I don't agree with all of Mamdani's takes, despite Mamdani also being Muslim. However, I can acknowledge he has crossover appeal simply because he's not pro-Israel. Sneako made an interesting point when he said, if people like Charlie Kirk got their wish and a far-right Christian nationalist government was established, it would be no different to the current secular liberal government in place that people like Destiny voted for, because all the politicians would still be bribed, blackmailed and owned by Israel. Myron did make the point that Christians that are not Zionists would also be an acceptable alternative, which I agree with. And it was also good to hear Myron quote the Quran when he referred to non-Zionist Christians and Jews as people of the book. Lastly, Sneako was spot on when he said, as Muslims in the West, we need to strengthen ties with people outside of our religion that hold no prejudice towards us, and especially with those that are standing up for Palestine and against the toxic ideology of Zionism. Thank you for watching. Make sure to join my free Telegram group via the link in the description. And remember to like, subscribe and become a channel member for access to exclusive content. Until next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allah.